I wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my astrology family. This is Lada from Astrolada.com with Victor, one of the best astrologers I know, one of the most successful astrologers I know. And we're talking today about fame and influencers and money. Hi, Victor.
Hi, Lada. How are you doing?
I'm excited what you have prepared for us. As always, I learned so much from those videos that we do together.
Oh, thank you. Well, I thought one of the things we can have a look at today is what can create fame in the chart.
Sorry,
And then
what?
maybe potentially fame, what
Fame.
can create fame in the chart. And potentially it might help you to even make some money out of it. By the way, I'm going to have a webinar coming up on money on the 14th of June, and one of the topics I want to talk there about is something to do with internet business because it's getting a lot more popular.
Oh,
Self-employment, I believe, with this all these Saturnian energies in Aquarius, is getting more and more popular as well.
oh yeah.
So definitely, it's going to be, I think, good for some people to know whether it's worth it or not.
Whether they can make money through online or through their own businesses. And you're basically on the webinar, you'll be teaching where does money come from in your horoscope. Not necessarily what is your vocation, what is your sole purpose. No, you're going to be talking specifically, show me the money in the horoscope.
Exactly, exactly. Your vocation and money are not always in correlation,
Oh,
unfortunately.
yeah.
And we do need to bear that in mind as well when we choose the ways of earnings. Anyway, when it comes to ways of earnings, we always going to be looking at a few indicators here, such as going to be looking at your second house, which is going to be talking about your personal assets and your psychological approach to money. Then I'm going to be looking at the condition of the eighth house, because that might be talking about personal assets accumulated through partnership and marriage. The condition of the 11th house could talk about your accumulated money through business and career, but
Okay.
usually when you are working for others.
So tell me how you see this, the difference between the second and the 11th, because there is controversy. In ancient Vedic astrology, the 11th house is gains from anything, so it's your income. The second in Vedic astrology is how are you able to grow this income, or basically say you make 100,000 per year. So the second house is maybe you can invest it here and then, grow it to 250,000 a year, or you can just spend it. So what you do with the money once you have it, can you grow it? Can you keep it? But you're telling me that 11th house, how do you look at it? I'm curious.
So exactly the same way. So second house is going to be talking about your psychological approach to money.
Mhm.
So whether you've got a good condition, the ruler of the second house is in a good condition, you might be more optimistic towards money, you want to grow, or you actually organize your life for growth. So I said to today, I had a client today actually, and then we were talking about this, and I said I would buy the 500 capacity of Zoom
Sorry? What?
because Zoom has got different options, and then you can have 100 people, for instance, on a webinar, or 500 people.
Yes.
The 500 people cost a little bit more, but I said to this person, I would do the 500 one because mentally, psychologically, what you do is you already setting up enough space for more clients to come towards your way.
Oh
If
my
you
God.
always set up for the bare minimum, then of course your brain is going to switch off. Oh, I've already got 99 people, so I cannot have more, so shut off.
Oh my
So
God. You're so right. That's what I do. Like I have the 100 people option, and almost every month you or someone else would make a webinar that's more than 100 people. And I'll just enable it for that month and then switch it off. And this is not the right approach. You're right. I'm setting up to, oh, I'm not expecting more than 100.
You know, I usually say that ask anything about business with my 10th house stellium, and then I come up with some solutions. But yeah, this is one of the ways, the psychological approach to money. And, and the ruler of the second house could show that to you. What's your mental approach to it? How you set yourself up for a successful business? Are you setting yourself up for failure, or are you setting yourself up for success? And of course, the 11th house is how much money you can earn through a business or a career. And the second house is going to be telling you how much extra can you put on it if you have got different type of tweaks in your mentality. Second house, yes, could talk about whether you are a spender or you are a hoarder. You know, whether you saving money and sit on it. That's not necessarily a great approach either. Because if you're sitting on your money and you don't give back to the universe, don't expect the universe to give you something back either.
Yeah.
So it's like a give and take type of energy, what we need to play around with money.
The second one.
So in this webinar, I'm going to be talking about how to see some type of wealth yoga, what type of planetary combinations can give you, you know, great success and so forth. But I'm also going to be looking at the 5th house, because the 5th house talks about your self-employment. So how successful you can be with that. And every single house has got some money interpretation anyway. So for instance, 12th house is going to be your big expenditure. The 3rd house might be money through some type of communication, such as social media. And that is getting bigger and bigger. Internet, Instagram, Facebook, websites, all those type of things belong to the 3rd house. So how can you make money out of that? The 3rd house can give you indication like how your website should be looking like. And of course, that's again something very, very important. So that's one of the things which definitely we're going to be looking at. So just to mention a couple of wealth indicators, like let's suppose you've got Venus in connection to the ruler of your 8th house. Venus is the general ruler of money. Then I would be saying that you definitely need to come up with a service industry type of business where you're going to be providing a service to your clients and then you take the money for it. So for instance, astrologers and stuff like that, that's a great indication.
Sex advisor.
Pardon?
Sex specialist.
Yeah, exactly. Sexology, psychology, someone who wants to dig deep, someone who wants to, you know, but 8th house talks about other people's money and it talks about investment. So any type of job which is about investing time, effort, and money belong here anyway. So if there is a great combination between Venus and the ruler of that planet and the conditions are looking good as well, you've got great chances to become like an investor. Or maybe Venus and the Neptune favorable connection. You can be very good at attracting money. By the way, we're going to be talking about fame in a second, but Neptune rules fame in astrology because it gives you an element of like an attraction to you, the sweetness, that innocence, what you have got. And let's not forget Neptune rules anything to do with TV, television, pictures, videos, and so forth. So any type of fame through images, that's what Neptune talks about. So for instance, when you've got a Venus and the Neptune favorable aspect.
I have that in exact trine within less than
Here you go. So that's very good at attracting money, especially through social media. That's going to be one of the social media influencer aspects.
So you kind of capture the approval of others through the, almost like through the collective subconscious. I don't know how it happens, but it's money comes magically. I never know how much money I have or what bank account has how much or has how little as well though.
It's interesting because Neptune, especially in the 2nd house, indicates that the person needs to transform or the person needs to do some type of money magic, because psychologically they are not connected to money,
No.
and money is just a tool for them to live.
Yeah.
But we need to look at money in a different way. Money is an energy.
Mhm.
So if you don't respect an energy, the energy is not going to respect you either.
Mhm.
So do not expect money to come around if you treat your notes, let's say, in a brutal way. Just a very silly stuff, but we need to start with small things.
Yes, I remember I used to throw out coins that were lying around. I'm like, and then years ago, like 10 years, I said, no, you have to respect money. And every time I find a coin now, I never leave it on the ground. I put it in a special place and I say, thank you. And it's like, and there was another very rich person who said, what's your secret to wealth? And he said, every time I pay something or receive money for something, I say, thank you, money. It's respect energy.
Exactly. With this Neptune, for instance, in the second house, have a little bit of a ritual with money. When I see that, I usually recommend having a lucky note, and not a $1 note. That should be $100 note, a lucky note, which you're never gonna touch, but it's always in your wallet and you always talk to it.
So a bit like a magic, yeah. A bit like a fairy tale relationship with money. Yeah. Talk to it like an animate object.
Exactly, because what is Neptune about? Fairy tales.
Right.
Basically, Neptune is responsible for the divine connection between the Earth and the universe. So Neptune, for instance, in the second house is going to be like, can I have a wish, please? Can I get more money? And that gets transferred to the divine, and then obviously a decision is going to be made.
Talking about that, because Neptune rules my second house. It's in Pisces. And it's trine Venus, the planet of money. So I have very Neptune influence on money. And 5 years ago, I wrote myself a check and I placed it on a vision board. And it was for 2019 that I'll have a certain amount of money by then. And I was quite poor then. I mean, I could barely pay my, expenses. And I checked at the end of 2019, and it turns out in my bank accounts altogether, this amount of money that I had written was there magically. So this magical ritual worked. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way. So you're so right. And by the way, Josie, one of Victor's students, she took with him the apprenticeship course in 2019 for a few months. And we really liked her. As we said, everyone who takes the apprenticeship with Victor, which is ongoing constantly, it's only 5 people in a group. So yeah, 5 or 6 people. So every week a new group is starting, every 2-3 weeks a new group. So if you're interested, and the best students, they come and work with us. And Josie was one of those. And I just wanted to say what an amazing job. Thank you so much, because after Josie's video, she had, you told me, 350 orders.
Yeah,
And
very buzzed at the moment.
very buzzed.
But people, natural talent, and Josie has got a very strong 8th house energy, and 8th house could be a fame indicator as well because of Plutonian energy, and Pluto is all about attraction. But when we talk about fame, the number one we're going to have to mention is definitely the sun.
The sun.
The sun is going to be talking about shining. The sun is going to be talking about wanting to be likable and wanting to be respected, looked up to. And when you have got sun in the 1st or the 10th house, that could actually indicate that you might become a social media influencer, which could come with fame as well as money.
Because the sun is very strong? You mean when it's in the 1st or the 10th?
The reason being is because the 10th house is the highest point of the chart. So the sun is going to be talking about how bright I can become, how bright I can grow. And obviously in the 10th house, it is the brightest moment of the day because that's going to be midday. So I'm the middle of the day. So I'm in the middle of everyone, basically. So that's where the shining, the fame element comes from having sun in the 10th house. The 1st house, because the sun is going to give you this likability, magnetic attraction to you. And then your personality doesn't go unnoticed. So that means that someone is looking up to you or cherishing you. I've got a double Leo friend. Jesus, she's the most attention seeker woman
She's the
ever.
what? She's the
The
most?
most attention seeking woman ever. She walks into a pub and the attention straight away goes on her. The lights goes on her. It's interesting, and I'm like, because I
She
don't
wants
necessarily
it. She
like
loves
nice.
it. Yeah,
Oh, and she loves it. Oh yeah, so much. And
so
me, my
she's
Aquarius sun,
Leo in ascendant and ascendant Leo.
Leo sun and Leo ascendant, and the
Oh,
sun on the ascendant as well.
the Leo King has Leo ascendant and Leo sun, and he's very kind of, it.
Yeah, she never goes unnoticed, that's for sure. Definitely the sun on the midheaven, very tightly, especially within 10 degrees, can reduce fame. But in my opinion, because the social media influence really belongs to the 11th house, sun in the 11th can take you up there as well. Now, the 11th house is because, well, the ancient approach to the 11th house is all about a large group of people, friends, and so forth. I don't necessarily believe in that anymore. I think 11th house talks about your fan club, talks about your followers, your benefactors, people who want you to benefit from their, from them actually.
Mhm.
So Sun in the 11th is a typical one when you have to become famous in one way or another.
Mhm.
Now, another one with the Sun is when you have got the ruler of your 10th house or the ruler of your midheaven in conjunction with.
In conjunction with the sun.
Yes, that is a very good recipe to become well known or at least known for something.
Okay, so the ruler of the 10th, the midheaven in conjunction with the sun. Ah, I have
That's
that.
right.
Yay!
You have got that.
Mars,
Great.
Mars, the ruler of the 10th.
So that's another very powerful combination.
You have the sun in the 10th, conjunct the
No,
midheaven.
I've got Sun in the 12th house, but I've got, I think I brought 7 examples and I've got 5 of them as well. So,
Ah, okay,
but
okay.
yeah, not the Sun one actually. And my Sun is in the 12th house and it does like being alone as well. So,
Oh,
need
okay.
privacy, surely. Another one which is very, very prominent or could be prominent is North Node on your midheaven. Because
Yeah.
the North Node talks about gains, talks about what you have to learn in this lifetime. So you have to learn what public, how it's like to have public attention. These people are not happy about that, but in a way they have to experience it. So, you know,
Well, I
um,
can give you an example. You had a student that took the apprenticeship course, Sveti, that she started working with us. And she has midheaven conjunct the North Node, and she didn't feel comfortable at all being in the public. She was like, no, no. But people loved her immediately, like a sudden jump. They're like, she's amazing. She's so lovely. So they're
yes,
out of their comfort there in the public eye, but life pushes them there, whether they want it or not. They have to.
exactly, because the South Node is going to be talking about your comfort zone. And
Mhm.
in this case, you put it in the 4th house, most probably, or around your IC, which means that you are comfortable being at home, looked up, and just dreaming about your desires, basically.
Yeah.
So with a North Node on the midheaven is definitely being known for something. That's going to be the key here. Being noticed for something. Another indication is Jupiter, because Jupiter talks about, it talks about social media and it talks about global marketing. So if you've got a very great Jupiter, such as in the 1st or the 10th house, then you might be very good at marketing yourself, and that's how you're going to be getting success. So for instance, Jupiter, I've got that in the 10th house, in the sign of Sagittarius. And I always found very important to present yourself, um, in a highly manner as well, as professionally as possible. I think these characteristics with Jupiter is very important. But usually they are very good at attracting others as well, because they usually have got a wealth of knowledge. So they've got something important to share. And of course, Jupiter needs to be paying attention here, whether it becomes a preacher or a teacher.
A
Because
preacher.
those are two different things. But Jupiter is also the planet of abundance in the chart. Bearing in mind whether it's a personal growth or financial, that's a different story. Money belongs to Venus rather than Jupiter, in my opinion. You can be rich on an emotional level, but not having anything in your pocket. And that's not the same, though.
Victor, I'm so sorry. It's very muffled. Do you have like a microphone or something? I have problem hearing all the time. Or
Really? Okay,
yeah,
then give me a
comes in
second.
and out from time to time, the sound.
Is it? Let me bring the microphone then one second.
Oh, thank you so much. So I'll keep talking. So we're talking about fame and how does fame shows in your chart. Victor is giving you a few combinations. So far we covered the sun in the first or the 10th, close to the ascendant, close to midheaven, the sun with the ruler of the midheaven or the 10th, Jupiter and on the ascendant or close to the ascendant or the midheaven. North node conjunct the 10th house as well. Okay, so and maybe I want to add something. North node in the 5th, in Vedic astrology they say that as well, that it's a combination, and the 7th, because the 7 is the public as well. It's other people. You kind of are pushed out of your comfort zone, but you're pushed into the direction of the audience, the public. Sorry, carry on.
I agree with you, because North Node at the end of the day is going to be about, in the 5th house, is going to be about self-employment. But usually the success for them comes with a little bit more work though. Now, another one apart from Jupiter could be Pluto. Pluto in the 1st or the 10th house. In the 1st house, it just gives you that magnetic force around you. What I've noticed with Pluto in the 1st house, very close by to the rising sign, is that even on your worst day, people turn around you in the street. They're gonna start talking to you. They're gonna be somehow magnetized by you. And Pluto rules magic. It rules the magnets, the attraction, and it just it's like having the gift and the ability to have influence over others. People just getting drawn to you. And this is the case with the 10th house as well. So the 1st and the 10th house Pluto can be very, very powerful.
I've noticed something. People either love them or hate them, though.
Yeah.
There's some that they'll look at them, they'll immediately be like, ugh, or others they'll be like, wow, this person is, I'm hypnotized by them.
Yes, exactly. When I teach my students about Pluto, I always compare it with vampires, because there was this series called Vampire Diaries.
Yes.
And I loved watching it, and the vampires are compelling people to do what they want, and the Plutonian energy is like that. It compels you, and then you can't say no. You just have to follow whatever the order was.
Subscribe to me, order.
Yes, exactly.
Pluto is gonna transit my ascendant in a few years. So.
Yes, it will actually. So you might actually at that time you might experience a huge jump with your followers, and
Or die.
well, let's take it more positive.
Sorry,
And then and then another indication could be Neptune. So Neptune, as I said at the beginning, is the planet of fame, because it comes with something to do with camera, movies, some type of talent. Again, having it in the 1st and the 10th house could be very powerful, because probably people will like watching you. We do need to know that astrology is about polarities. So each of these have got the negative side as well. And of course, I usually say a talent doesn't just come around. You have to work for it. Though, so, you know, Neptune in the 1st house can make you drink too much as well. And the talent just goes by, right? So you have to
Or
choose
doubt
the right
yourself.
reason.
I think I've seen people with Neptune strong on the ascendant. They always doubt themselves. Am I good enough? Or
That's right, exactly. I'm gonna briefly, I'm gonna teach about the aspects as well, just a tiny bit on that course. Today, I'm gonna mention the sextile, because that's a money-making aspect. I think sextile is very much misunderstood in astrology. How I look at it is how you can make money. Sextile is a Venus-related energy.
yeah.
Venus is all about money and love, of course. So any sextile in your chart could indicate what ways you can make money for yourself.
Oh, I have a sextile between Uranus and Jupiter, and the ruler of my ascendant and Uranus as astrology. It's yeah.
And then Jupiter is teaching astrology.
Oh my God! And Saturn is me because it rules the ascendant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Interesting,
wow.
yeah.
I never looked at sextiles in this way as money making.
It is. I think it's a mistake not to look at it that way.
So let's test.
I've
Someone.
got a couple of examples. For
Oh yeah,
instance,
sure.
actually, just on top of my head, I can share my screen, I
Yes.
guess. Well, I've got Emma Watson, but I've got Emma Watson for a different reason. Okay, so one of my favorite example for this is Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz. Right there. So what we can see with Cameron Diaz's chart, for instance, that her rising sign is on 22 degree of Cancer, and we've got a very strong conjunction to Venus. Can we see that Moon is sextile in Venus and the ascendant?
Yeah.
Now, Moon represents your body. It's in the 11th house, which talks about popularity, large group of people following you, your benefactors. Moon also can represent something to do with your talent, but here, and it could rule actually the people as well, your followers. But this time around, Moon is going to be talking about the body because it rules the ascendant, and that's your personality. We do need to know that Cameron Diaz, at the beginning of her career, she was a model. Venus and Moon.
I've
Right?
seen
The
porn
beauty
too.
and the body came together. So, however, remembering that sextile also talks about choices we make. So it's her choice whether she wants to become one or not. So you're going to have to pick these aspects in your chart. Otherwise, it's just going to be a waste of talent. Let's call it that way. Another very good example I pick up for this is Elvis Presley. And the reason being, the reason being is because he's got Mars sextile in his rising sign, 12 degree, 12 degree. And now we do need to know that Elvis Presley is a sex symbol, right? And that's going to be something to do with your Mars, because Mars is all about your sexuality. It's all about, especially in Libra, it could really talk about grabbing the attention of females. Plus, Mars rules the 5th house in this chart with Uranus. Now, Uranus is associated with rock and roll in astrology. And 5th house is your talent. So some type of talent, Mars, Uranus talent, which could bring him success. or money.
Yes.
Well,
Well, traditional astrology, Mars is rock and roll, so the same. The
yeah,
music that rocks you, Mars, that shakes you.
yeah, that's a shaking, pioneering, poking energy, wake up type of
Yeah.
element there. So that's, again, I think it's a very great example of how to utilize this as a talent. But I've got a very good one, and this is my number one favorite ever when I teach success, and that's Emma Watson. And I like using her chart for the separating and the applying aspects. And I'm going to explain why. So first of all, the planet of money, which is Venus, this time around, it does rule the second house as well. So, and it is found in the seventh house, which talks about other people, which talks about your audience, in Pisces, which is exalted. Now, we can see a lovely trine to a Jupiter, which is also an exalted Jupiter. So this is what we're going to call as a mutual reception. And Jupiter rules the seventh house. So I'm making money through my audience. A lovely mutual reception, a very good recipe to make hell loads of money. But what's interesting about this aspect, that this aspect is separating trine, meaning that the Venus is separating from the perfected 120 degree, and because Venus is the faster moving one. Now, in traditional astrology, in Hellenistic astrology, the separating aspect means that it's going to be happening at the beginning of your life, somewhere in the first 20-25 years.
Oh, okay.
And then after, it might not resonate that strongly.
Oh, okay. So can you repeat that?
So
If there is a separating aspect, it happens within your 25th year, usually.
So in the first 25 years of your life.
In the first, sorry, yeah, within.
Yes.
Before that, yeah.
Yes. And now what we need to know about Emma Watson, that she played in the Harry Potter. At the age of 12, she made so much money that you can't imagine. So at the age of 18, she said in an interview, I don't want to sound big-headed because I'm not that type of person, but I made so much money that I don't need to work in my entire life anymore. And that represents the Venus and the Jupiter energy beautifully.
Yes.
Especially because it's a separating trine as well. Yeah, so in the upcoming webinar, we're going to be talking about whether you can make money from playing the lottery, when to play the lottery. So I'm going to teach you timing techniques on that. However, I've got a couple of funny stories about lottery. I think I told you, didn't I? The last year I was playing on the lottery, and then I would have won, but I couldn't register my ID cards. Did I not tell you that?
Oh, tell me.
What happened was, do you remember Jupiter-Venus conjunction on Galactic Center?
In November, yes.
Yeah, which is on my part of fortune.
Oh, yes.
So I said to myself, it's about time to pay the lottery. And I did, but in Hungary you have to register your ID, your identity card online before you actually can submit the tickets. And I couldn't. It wasn't accepting my ID card at all, and it said something invalid. The description it gave me sounded like I'm an illegal person, and I was like, what is going on? So anyway, I kept all my tickets, and I would have won on that lottery.
How much?
I can't even pronounce it, that much. But because my ID card wasn't accepted, I did nothing. I did win nothing at all. So that's why I'm still working for you.
Not for me, with me.
I'm like, I was so baffled, and then after I realized I've got also Neptune conjunct in my part of fortune energy. Um,
Oh,
so,
were you gonna stop doing astrology if you want all that money?
no, I wouldn't actually. I would still carry on working, to be frank. With 5 planets in 10th house, I need work.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, I had another very quick story. I went to Amsterdam with my friends, and they were like, let's go and go to a casino. And I'm like, I've never been to one. And I don't even know how to use these machines. And at that time, well, it was less than 2 years ago. So Jupiter was transiting, I remember, Uranus in my chart.
Oh, that's sudden
In the
luck.
10th house.
Sudden luck. Sudden luck.
Yes, sudden luck. And we went to the casino. I exchanged $10 to coins. I wasted 8, and I'm like, why am I not using maybe any of my psychic abilities to see which machine to go to?
Yeah.
So I went up to, I did a little bit of a seance there. I chose the machine. I went there. There was no one there. I tried to insert my money, and it wasn't accepting it at all. So I was like, what is it going on? Like, why is it not accepting my coins? So I started pressing the buttons all over. And then all of a sudden, plenty of money was just pouring out of the machine.
Oh my God.
40,000. So
What?
I was so happy about it. Yes. You know,
$40,000?
40,000. Yes, euros actually.
Oh my God.
40,000.
You're the person who should be teaching about winning the lottery.
But let me tell you something. It turned out, and then I started thinking, I didn't even put money in. So how did that work? It's such a funny story because the machine belonged to someone else, and they went to the toilets.
No.
And he had 8,000 euros won already because I was pressing the buttons. It went up to 40.
Oh my
So
God.
I caused the luck to someone else. And on top of it, I got walked out of the casino as well because they thought I wanted to steal his money.
Oh my God. Oh no.
So
Oh no.
the reason why I said that story to everyone was because we're going to have a look at the natal chart, whether you are meant to be winning or not. And maybe my Neptune on with part of fortune doesn't really help.
Oh my God. Well, you should be helping others then. To
And it looks like I'm meant to be helping others, yes.
Oh my God. Do the Neptunian charity thing to make others fortunate with your Neptune part of fortune.
Exactly. Neptune rules charity, yes, that's true.
Oh my God. No.
And even the guy didn't allow me to take away my $2 which I wanted to insert. No, you can't take anything. I'm like,
Made it 40,000 euros. He should have given you at least a little bit.
no, they thought I wanted to steal it. So, and I was like, I'm being serious. I never ever knew how to use these machines, and I that's true. I don't know how to use them. I just don't see the logic in them at all. I was just pressing the buttons all over.
And you put it up to 80,000 to 40,000.
40,000, yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So just a short presentation on what to expect on the upcoming webinar.
But you gave us so much information. You taught us so much about fame, the combinations of fame, the combinations of becoming known in your field, whatever field you want, and on financial wealth combinations. So this is
So
that
just to close that off, I think, as I said, money is an energy and it needs to be respected as an energy. And money is a creative force as well. So if you want to grow your financials, there needs to be creativity, such as sextile energy there, and treating that money as an energy as well. But about the psychological stuff, I'm definitely going to talk about a lot more because we can override those.
Thank you so much, Victor. I really enjoyed this. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
A lot of fun stories. Not fun for you, but
Well, I'm just laughing at you now, but yeah, at that time it wasn't that great.
Thank you. Have a fascinating again. Have a wonderful weekend. And anyone who wants to, no, weekend, it's Monday or Tuesday. Anyone who wants to join that webinar, Victor's webinars are the most visited ones, the most watched ones. If you can't watch it live, you can watch it after that. But usually we offer a discount till the day of the webinar itself, about 30%, and then it becomes at the regular price. And it's on the 16th or 14th? 14th of June.
14th of June, 5 p.m. Budapest, 4 p.m. London, Britain time.
And that would be morning in the USA. So, if you can watch it live, definitely you can have the recording after that, and you own it for life as well. Well, thank you so much, Victor.
Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed week.
With you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God. Let it go. Clean myself completely so I can get higher above. I will love you more than I could ever love. Let's be found in a heart.